What's going on, everyone? Shiraz Ahmed here, and today we're going to dive into an essential topic that everyone really should master, which is creating a budget. And no, I'm not talking about the kind of budget that makes you feel like you're in a bit of a straitjacket. This is going to be inspired by one of my favorite financial books that I read years ago, The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton. So we'll be exploring 5 main points to create a budget that actually helps you achieve your goals while still being able to frankly enjoy your life. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everyone. So let's dive into the 5 main things to consider when making a budget. Number 1, bill yourself first. So I know this is a little bit of a twist from Chilton's pay yourself first concept in the book, but hear me out. Now, we all know that it can be tough to save, especially during periods of high inflation, but no matter what, most of us are pretty good about paying our bills. So think of this as a bill to yourself from the future. Ultimately, you're going to want to picture yourself as the main character in your own story, like Luke Skywalker. And yes, I'm nerding out a little bit right now. But you're really destined for greatness, so why not make yourself the priority in your own financial life? Now, you're going to want to allocate 10 to 15% of your income towards savings and investments before accounting for other expenses. This way, you're putting yourself front and center in your financial future. Now, of course, during periods of high inflation, you might want to look at increasing that amount, maybe 20% if possible, to be able to protect yourself and your money from losing purchasing power. All right, number 2, which is to track your income and expenses. Now, think of this as your personal financial GPS. You can't reach your destination without knowing where you're starting from. Now, you're going to want to list all your income sources and your monthly expenses, both fixed and variable. Now, of course, in times of high inflation, you want to keep a really close eye on those rising costs, and that's why downloading your statements is so important. Just like navigating through a maze in a game show, you'll really want to make sure that you're adjusting your budget to stay on top of your financial game. All right, number 3, which is, let's talk about distinguishing between needs and wants. This is probably one of the hardest things for people to do, but it's like choosing your perfect playlist on your road trip. You're going to have your must-have needs, but there are also some of the nice-to-have or wants. Now, during high inflation, it's going to be crucial for you to prioritize your essential needs like housing, food, utilities, to make sure that your financial situation is stable. But you may need to come back on some of those nice-to-haves in order to accommodate for your rising costs. Okay, now my 4th tip is to focus on real returns and diversification. Now, when it comes to achieving your financial goals, you're going to want to make sure that your investments aren't losing ground relative to inflation. Now, this is like being a contestant on Survivor. You really need to adapt to your environment in order to succeed. So you're going to need to prioritize investments that provide real returns, which means that they outpace inflation, and diversify your portfolio to hedge against potential inflation risks. Now, consider assets like inflation-protected securities, stocks, or real estate to actually help you keep your financial game strong. All right, number 5, which is to regularly review and adjust for inflation. Now, your budget is like a contestant in Dancing with the Stars. It needs to be flexible in order to adapt to new moves. Now, during times of high inflation, you may need to reassess your financial goals and reallocate your funds between categories more frequently. Now, adapt your budget to accommodate rising costs and ensure that your financial plan remains aligned with your evolving circumstances. Okay, so there you have it. These are my 5 main points that are really inspired by the book, The Wealthy Barber, to create a budget that works for you. So you're going to want to remember that number 1, you want to bill yourself first. Number 2, you're going to want to track your income and expenses. Number 3, you're going to want to distinguish between needs versus wants. Number 4, you're going to want to focus on real returns and diversification. And number 5, you want to regularly review and adjust for inflation. Now, in this time of high inflation, by following these tips, you'll be able to put yourself ahead in achieving ultimately your financial goals. Now, people often have difficulty with creating and, more importantly, sticking to a budget. And the easiest way to do this is by making this a part of your everyday life. It's a task that needs to be checked off weekly, just like doing your groceries. Now, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, as it really does help out the channel. I'll also put my contact info at the end of this video. Please drop me a line if you have any topic suggestions or any ideas about budgeting that you want me to cover. Until next time, please stay safe out there, you all. Bye for now.